Good morning to all my students, and I'm welcoming you to the new lecture of the business studies. So we have here chosen the new chapter, that is the emerging modes of the business. So you have just studied about what is the meaning of the business as when we are converting the raw material into the finished product, or when we are assembling anything, and when we are actually doing something for the selling purpose, that is a business. And also we have studied about what are the supportive units of the business, which is called the commerce, as commerce is also the supporting unit of the business. So we have just studied yet that what is the business, what are the trade and commerce. Today we are going to study all the trade and commerce and the business and everything, but with a new way, with a new view. Like in a present era, it is an era of changing. It is an era of tackling with the technology. So the introduction of the online and the electronic media plays a very important role in all the aspects of the life. So how can the business can be far from the technology? So we can see that in the business also, the business is using so much of the electronic media, and with the help of that we are also having so much of the benefit with that media and with that technology. No businessman can ignore about of using the new technology, because if you want to excel and explore your business, you have to take all the technology, you have to update your business. So we can say that using of the electronic world, or that is the online transaction and online platform, is very important for exploring and excelling in your business. So today our topic is, that is the emerging modes of the business, or emerging modes of business, that how we can excel our business with the help of the technology, new updates and technology. So modern era or world is an era of the globalization and change and technology. It responses to this. In response to this, the business throughout the world is changing its organization by the way of working and the use of technology. Business processes are being redesigned. How? The major changes in the mode of the business is emerging, or emergence of the e-business, then e-commerce, and the business processing outsourcing. So in this topic we are actually going to study about the e-business, e-commerce, and also the business processing outsourcing. So I just want to give you the view about what we are going to study in our today's lecture, and we will going to study about the meaning and scope of the business. Also we will going to study about what is the e-business versus the e-commerce. Next is also we will talk about the security problem related to the business. Then we will discuss about the outsourcing, business outsourcing, which is called the BPO, business processing outsourcing. And one more thing, that is the KPO, which is called knowledge processing outsourcing. So one by one we will going to read it. So moving to the meaning and scope of the business, of the e-business, we should say it refers to carrying on business activity through the internet. When we are doing each and every activity relate to the business, whether it is a business function or something else, whatever we are doing in a business, when we are just connecting all our activity related to our business with this technology, or you can say with the internet, it is called the e-business or e-commerce. So the e-commerce or e-business refer to the carrying on business activities through the internet. Business activity comprises industry, trade and commerce. So commerce means conduct the industry, trade and commerce activity through the commerce. So we can say that each and everything, whether it is related to the business, or it is related to the commerce, or it is related to the trade, when we are connecting it with the internet, that is called the e-business. So the scope of e-business is that it includes carrying out all the planning, organizing and production etc. electronically through internet. So there are various people and parties involved in the electronic transactions. These transactions are extended up to the 4 directions. With the help of that, we actually divide our business in a four direction or four dimension. First is that is called B2B, second one is B2C, third one is C2C, and fourth one is the intra-B-commerce transactions. So when we are moving to the B2B, it means that the transaction taking place between the business unit are known as the B2B. It means business to business. When we are doing business to business, that is called B2B transactions. These transactions may involve creation of utilities, collaborations, then commercial negotiation, inviting the tender, etc. And when we are talking about the B2C, it means the business with the customer. The transaction related or taking place between the business unit and the customer are known as B2C transaction. B2C enable the businessman to remain in touch with the customer on round the clock basis. So B2C also gives scope to C2B. Also it's a B2C and also the C2B. It gives a scope to that. So customer even also can connect with the business. If business connect with the customer can also connect with the business. So for example, there are B2C transaction may involve selling and distribution, after sales services, promotion and other marketing activity, lodging of the complaint by the customer. This is the C2B. Now come to the C2C. It means customer to customer. Here I just want to clear you that even the seller is the customer for the supplier. If seller is selling something to their customer, customer are ultimate, you can say the customer, but somewhere also the manufacturer from where he is just taking the raw material, he is a customer from the supplier also. So the transaction taking place between the customer to customer are known as C2C. In this setup, the business firm, that is seller, is also customer and buyer is also customer. It provides secure market system for sale of the used goods or services. So C2C various customer forums are also formed through C2C transactions. An aggrieved or cheated customer can warn other customer not to buy such product in which he was cheated. So C2C means when the customer is connected with the customer with the help of the internet. So for example of C2C transaction are selling used goods and clothes, also selling antique items, then warning customer about the fraudulent suppliers. So these all are the C2C commerce. Now come to the intra-B-commerce. So intra-B-commerce means it refers to the transaction between the parties or a person who are the part of one firm only. Mean it is within the firm when all the transaction and everything is going on. So it is a transaction within the firm. That's why it is called the intra-firm transaction. The firm has to deal with the supplier, the customer, the employees. These are called intra-B transactions. So it means intra-B means the business is actually connecting with the employees. The business is also connecting with their supplier. The business is connected with their customer. So the one business, when it is connected with all these groups, it is called intra-B transactions. So intra-B transaction improve the coordination, faster decision and speedier work flow. Intra-B commerce also help in the firm to interact with their employees, recruitment and selection of the employees, etc. They can send report to the office through email. Employees need not to come to the office, rather office goes to them. So what are their examples? Transaction between the two departments, that is the intra-B transaction. Placing order and giving instruction to suppliers. Communication of important information in the whole organization. Also recruitment, selection and training. And also reporting the employees to their manager. These all are the intra-B transactions. So how the internet or the online transaction are important for the day-to-day of the business, as the internet facilitates so many working, and it makes the work easier for the supplier, and it's for the business. You can say whole for the business. Now next, moving to the business versus e-business versus the e-commerce. So if we talk about the e-business is a wider term. It actually includes the business, all kind of the business. It actually includes the commerce itself in it, because commerce is just a part of the business. Commerce is actually just supporting part of the business. It means that whatever the business require as in the supporting part, just like the insurance, the banking, the financing, the storage, all comes in your commerce. So it means here also, if we compare the e-business versus e-commerce, e-business is wider than the e-commerce. So e-business is wider and it includes e-commerce, as commerce is one of the branch of the activity of business. Similarly, e-commerce is one branch of e-business. E-commerce deal with exclusively in distribution of goods and services, where e-business involved in production. E-business is involved in production, sale, distribution, after sale services, and firm intra-firm business transactions such as the accounting and management also. Now come to the opportunities and benefit of e-business. What are the benefits of e-business, as everybody is using this technology, and what is if we compare the simple business as well as with the e-commerce, e-business, electronic business, what are the different kinds of the benefits you can take it from the e-business. As e-business made it possible the work around the clock, and there is no geographical limits for the market. Through e-commerce you can reach to your customer located different parts of the world. It's a different part of the world you can reach to your customer where the access of the internet is possible. Now first is uniform and low investment is required. You need not to open a big showroom for your business. It is very easy if you have the internet facility, if you have your computer with you, you can with the help of your own website or customized website, you can open your business. So there, if we compare the simple business as well as with the e-business, it is more economical, less costly. Come to the next, that is the convenient. With the help of the e-business, shopping can be done conveniently. You need not to go to the market. With the help of there are so many shopping sites. By sitting at your home, either it is day or night, you can do your shopping by sitting at your home, and you need not to go to market. You need not to waste your time. Just opening to your mobile app or the marketing app, you can you can marketing anything even by just sitting at your home and opening your mobile phone. So with the help of the e-business, shopping can be done conveniently. Using or sitting at the home, million of the people exchange information in the world through the e-commerce. Next is speedy. It's a very quick, like throughout the e-business, information can be exchanged and buying and selling can be done just with a click of the mouse. This benefit is more in case of production like software, movies, music, books, etc. Through the electronic fund transfer, even money is defined as an electronic pulse at the speed of the light. Come to the global reach. As we have already explained that the manufacturer or the businessman can reach their customer clockwise. Worldwide you can search out their customer, because there is no limit that the businessman can business in this area or this location, because here you can reach to each and everybody who has the access of the internet. So here the prospects of your selling become more and more if we talk about the simple business. On to the cost saving. Trading through the e-business is more economical as compared to the other trading, because in the e-commerce the businessman are not required own showroom or for display of their good. No middleman is also required here. There is a direct sale. Generally manufacturer set up their website for direct sale to the customer. So it's a cost involved in the advertisement is also same. Cost involved in the carrying the product from display purpose is also be same. Come to the movement towards a paperless society. Use of internet has reduced the dependence of the paperwork and red tape. So you can say that if everything is noting down in your computer, you are just making the folder also. You need not to be write each and everything in the books. Everything is saving. You can save the information in the, you can say, in the computer device, where you can also with the folder you can maintain your business information there. So there you need not to maintain so many books and registers. So you are through this you can also move into the paperless society. Nowadays people can file even their income tax online, apply for the passport online, etc. You need not to fill the form. It is all done through the online basis. Now come to the online transactions. How you do the online transaction? By purchasing something or something you want to buy, you are going to the website. But for the online transaction, you also have to require something. What is the online transaction? E-business refer to the shopping through the internet and online. Online open up the whole world as one shop. With the simple click of the computer mouse, you can order any commodity from any part of the world. The World Wide Web, that is www. So that's what it is called, the World Wide Web, has expanded the international market, which gives the customer unlimited choices. Due to the online transaction, e-commerce has created a new and a large space in which buyer and seller can exchange information and also enter into the business dealing. So here World Wide Web, with the introduction of the World Wide Web, the whole world is the marketplace. You can buy anything. There are so many variety open to you. It is for the seller as well as for the buyer, for both. So 4 phases of doing the business in e-business. First you require the registration. Then you are to, when you are registered with the buyer, you are to be place your order. There is a card. You can select the cheese and just drop it into the card. Next is the payment mechanism. Once you have selected your good and you just drop it into the card, then the next step is to how you will pay for that. How will you pay the value? And how you will pay? There are so many ways you can pay. It is there is either you can go for the cash on delivery through the check, net banking transfer, credit or debit cards. Also the digital cash is also available for you. So next is the security and safety of e-business. Also, if you are doing or shopping or something you are doing on air, everything is there on air. So also it is good, it is very good as in a good technology. You need not to go for the market, you need not to be conveyed, you cannot waste your time by conveying if you want to convey information to within your business, but still there is some you can say there is a limitation, which is, it means there is some security problems and that can be solved by, you can also apply or just you can say have or install the some, you can say for the website there are some hackers also. You can take the antivirus kit for all these things. So one by one we will going to study it. The security problem of e-commerce can be broadly discussed in the following 3 categories. First is the transactional risk, then is the data storage risk, and third one is the threat from intellectual property. First is the transactional risk. The common transactional risk of online is default on order taking or giving, default on delivery, and also default on the payment. So these are the transactional risk. It means when you are doing a transaction, it is actually done with when you are going to buy something or purchasing something. Second one is the data storage risk. Vital information can be stolen or modified to pursue some selfish motives or just for fun. The common storage risks are, that is the virus, hacking. So virus means what? It is a vital information under siege. It is called virus. Some of the computer viruses are deadly. They clean up all the information stored in the computer memory. The virus can enter the computer through email, or the disk or the floppies. Virus hamper the function of the business. Virus bring the things to the standstill, causing huge loss of revenue and employee time also. The one is the other, that is the hacking. Hacking refers to unauthorized entry into the website. Hackers often destroy the data and information which cause huge losses to the owner because it would interrupt the business transaction. So these are the risks by the data storage risk. The third one is the risk of the threat of intellectual properties or privacy. Internet is an open space. It becomes very difficult to keep the information secret. Data can be supplied to others who may misuse the information. So it is very good to be used the internet, but somewhere there can be also the problem because data on here may not be you can say secure for some reason. For that you can also make the arrangement by uploading and downloading the antivirus kits and all these things. You should be also take care about it. Now come to the next, that is the resources required for the successful implementation of the e-business. If you want to implement the e-business, what are the requirements of yours? First is the computer hardware. Just to start your e-business, the very first is you must have the computer hardware, and you must have to also customize your software according to your need. Second one is technical qualified staff. You cannot pursue the new technology unless your staff is not aware about how to use it. So you must have the competent and educated qualified staff who can handle all these things. Next is the computerized system of receiving payment. So for the successful e-commerce, the business enterprises need to develop an efficient system of receiving payment for the goods sold, and for this the businessmen have to make arrangement with commercial banks and credit card agencies. Next is the well designed website. Also there is no, you need not to be place the things on your shop, you need not to be install any showroom, a big showroom, but at least you have to be maintain your website. How much your website is attractive and good to be for the customers who can search it easily, who can understand it easily. That is very much required, because through the website your customer will in to your for the buying the goods. So that is well designed website must be there. Next is the telecommunication facilities. E-commerce will succeed only with adequate telephone lines and internet facility are available, and there is no interruption in their services. The prompt internet facility should be made available to the common man in the reasonable price, otherwise it will remain confined to reach the rich people. So these are the requirements before starting the e-commerce. Now come to the outsourcing concept. What do we mean by the outsourcing? So outsourcing means it refers to getting the business tasks done from the outsiders, outside agency. See, there is a two kind of work. One is a productive work and the other one is the routine kind of. If the manufacturer or the businessman will do the routine kind of work, he will not be able to think more productive. So with this logic, so many big units and the companies actually delegate their work, the routine work, to the other agencies so that they can do more work on the productive side. That's why the routine kind of work, which is very easy to be understand, and there is no loop and holes, you can just transfer these kind of work to the other person. By just giving a small training, you can delegate your authority to the other person. That is called the outsourcing. You can see there are so many BPOs are opened, which is called business processing outsourcing. So outsourcing is also, you can say, there is a big example that BPOs come to the existence, where the main work of the BPO is, it means it is the outsourcing. It means the BPO are actually doing the work which is of a routine kind for a particular client. If you can say that if the bank is a client for that BPO is actually working for their client, which is a bank. So many BPOs are actually working for, you can say, for the loan purpose. Their work is to just call the person and to give the information about the loan if you are interested. So this is a very kind of a job which is of a repetitive, and if the business will do this kind of work, then the bank will do this kind of work. The bank will not think more productive. That's why the companies actually delegate or transfer their routine kind of work to the other agency, which is called the BPO or the outsourcing. So we can say that the outsourcing, over the last decade, the new type of business within the service sector has become popular in the world. It is called the business processing outsourcing. So BPO refer to getting the business task accomplished through an outside agencies. Initially, only the few companies in United States adopted the practice of the outsourcing by assessing the routine jobs to the outside agencies, so that company would concentrate on the critical issues without wasting the time on routine work. So later on, it becomes popular in the other companies or countries. Earlier companies used to hire the outside agencies as per perform tasks which used to come up occasionally. For example, the company used to hire the services of management, consultant, or getting their employees trained, or to design their advertisement. The routine job were performed by the regular staff of the company, and now the trend has changed. The companies have started hiring outside agencies to perform the routine jobs such as sales services, maintaining the books of accounts, that's all. These are the things we can give to the outsourcing. The companies must identify what is their core competence and concentrate only on the outsources functions of outsider agency, which is specialized in the function, so that company can concentrate on crucial matter. So here the mean is that the crucial matter is only retained by the company. On that they should, if they have enough time, only then they can concentrate on the crucial work of the company, and this can only be possible if they will transfer the routine kind of job to the other person. So what are the advantages of BPO? First is the concentration on core competence. Second, reduction in the cost. It means the outsourcing agency perform the task for different companies. So client companies get benefit of economies of scale. Generally, they save 10 to 20% of the cost. Third one is help to avoid the labor problem. Fourth is the benefit of latest development. So what is the scope of BPO? BPO is more popular, known as call center, which provide customer-oriented voice-based service for 24/7 days. About 70% of the BPO industry revenue comes from the call centers. Second type of, that is the BPO company of 4 keys. These are the common area where BPO is operating. The contracting, the contract manufacturing. Second was the contract research, contract sale, and informatives. These are the 4 dimensions where the BPO serves. Next is, come to the next one is the knowledge processing outsourcing, which is called the KPO. KPO means knowledge processing outsourcing. What does it mean? So the KPO business firm get knowledge related and information related work done from the outside firm. This involves the high value work carried on by the highly skilled staff. KPO firm is in addition to provide the expertise and consultancy service through often take many low level decisions also. What is the feature of KPO? That main difference between the BPO and the KPO is that KPO usually focused on the knowledge intensive business processes that require the significant expertise. Second one, the main aim of KPO is to create the value of the client by providing business expertise rather than process expertise. KPO involve the advanced analytical thinking, technical skill, divisive judgment based on the experience. KPO increases the efficiency and result of cost saving. So, common service of KPO are the legal processes, patent service, data analytical analysis, and editorial process. Now, these are the means of these are the dimensions where the KPO deal. So, we can say that the KPO actually deals with the knowledge processing outsourcing, where it is little opposite from your BPO, where BPO actually transfer the routine kind of job to the other agency. Here, when you require a specialized knowledge, all specialized knowledge, for that you actually hire the other agency, which provide you all the specialized knowledge in everything. So now next to the smart card and ATM meaning and utility. What do you mean by the smart card? Smart card is small plastic card embedded with a memory chip and often microprocessor and a battery used for information storage, management and authentications. It look like and also work like a credit card, but is not having the magnetic strip on its back. A smart card is more secure than magnetic strip card. It is mostly used as in financial transactions. Card, it can be loaded with a digital money and can be used till the balance is zero. For example, the SIM cards, healthcare cards and metro card, all are these smart cards. Come to the ATM. What do you mean by the ATM? ATM is called the automated teller machine. So the person who makes the payment and accepts the deposit in the bank is known as teller. So the ATM refers to the machine, mechanical and automatic teller, which can do a teller job 24 hours a day. That is less than half of the cost of human teller. To use the ATM, you are to insert the plastic card in the machine and enter your identification code. If the code matches, the machine responds by giving cash and taking deposit, etc. There are two kinds of the ATM. First is the ATM basic unit, which allows the customer to only withdraw cash and receive a report of the customer's balance. The second is the complex ATM. If this machine accepts the deposit, facilitate the credit card payments, and give complex account information. So this is all about what are the smart card and what do you mean by the ATM. All we are using the ATM very frequently in our day-to-day lives, and it is very convenient. It is just like a teller. The teller actually in the bank, it is actually a person. Actually, his duty is to sit and deal with the money. When somebody withdraw money or somebody want to deposit money, that person is actually receiving and attending those customers. So this is all about what do you mean by the emerging mode of the business. You have read about it, what is the meaning, the scope, and what is the e-business done, e-commerce. You have also studied in this lecture about what is this outsourcing and the KPO, which is called the knowledge processing outsourcing. With that, your chapter or your topic is going to be over, and I am just suggesting you to please read by your own. Also try to read the other books if you want to excel more information, if you want to gather more information, and I will say good luck to you for your study, and it is